There's this pull, right? An instinctive thing that's always pulling us inward.
Constantly toward our own gravitational center.
Yeah, exactly. Toward our wounds, our fantasies, that endless internal monologue we start to think is, reality itself.
But here's the thing, and it's this fascinating contradiction you see everywhere, from ancient Stoicism to, well, modern psychology, meaning fulfillment, any kind of real peace. It always lies in the complete opposite direction. It's outward.
Exactly. And we're all looking for some kind of shortcut, aren't we? A way to feel resilient in a world that it never stops shaking.
And the sources we're looking at today, they suggest there are no shortcuts. But there is a framework.
A blueprint.
Yeah, a blueprint for real strength. And our mission in this deep dive is to really explore that framework. We want to understand the practical moves you have to make to shift your focus, to master your own response.
And to ultimately live with, I guess, authenticity and endurance even when everything is in flux.
That's the goal.
So, if we want to build that strength, the place to start seems to be with the biggest energy drain of all.
The tyranny of self-absorption.
Yes.
Look, if you feel exhausted, a lot of the time it's because you are just spending way too much energy orbiting your own needs. Robert Greene makes this really uncomfortable point about it.
Oh, yeah.
He argues that most of us are self-absorbed by default. We walk through conversations not really listening, just waiting for our turn to speak.
Just formatting our own response. And it's not just in conversation, it's systemic, right? Think about how we measure our own worth. It's not the quality of the work, usually. It's the attention we get for it, the likes, the engagement, that validation from outside.
And that inward spiral is, well, it's a prison you build for yourself.
Yeah.
And it's incredibly isolating. It creates so much unnecessary anxiety.
How so?
Well, if you interpret every single email, every interaction, every little cultural shift through the lens of how does this affect me, you're constantly building walls.
Instead of bridges.
Exactly. You turn these neutral events into, perceived slights or demands on your time. And that just leads to this chronic low-grade resentment.
So, okay, if the problem is this exhausting inward spiral, what's the antidote? The practical, immediate thing you can do?
It's a deliberate, when your focus is genuinely outward, you show that you're working for the common good. People respect you because your goal is the best outcome for everyone, not just for you.
So your ego gets absorbed into the work itself.
Precisely. Leadership becomes this huge responsibility, not a platform for glory.
And that idea, that shift from ego to responsibility, it leads to this really beautiful, simple rule for snapping out of that self-absorption.
Never stifle a generous impulse.
Yes. Tell us more about that.
It's one of the most powerful insights we found. That urge to give, to help, to reach out with no strings attached. It reminds you physically immediately that you are part of something bigger.
It breaks that gravitational pull.
It's the fastest way. If you feel moved to do something kind, you have to act on it right then, before your self-absorption talks you out of it.
So when you start living that way, what's the effect?
The sources describe it as a kind of harmonization. When your inner world, your character, your intentions lines up with your outer action.
Your generous impulses.
Right. Then your relationships start to harmonize too. You just become the kind of person others are naturally drawn to because you genuinely care about the world you live in.
Now, all of this, shifting your focus, being generous, it needs a solid foundation to rest on.
It does.
And that foundation is this piece of ancient, practical wisdom. The distinction between what we control and what we don't.
That's it. That is the critical pivot point for personal strength.
Yeah.
We become miserable when we're consumed by trying to control things that are just external.
Like how people treat us or what they say about us.
Whether they notice our efforts, all of it.
And the liberating truth, the bedrock truth, is that you can't change any of that. You can only change how you react to it.
It sounds so simple, but actually practicing it is incredibly hard.
Why is it so hard?
Because we waste so much energy on it. Epicurus warned about this, thousands of years ago. He said, do not spoil what you have by desiring what you have not.
And think about how much we do that. That low-grade resentment we have for rivals, or the time spent just wanting circumstances to be different.
We're sacrificing the present happiness, what we actually have, for these imaginary scenarios we'll probably never control.
So how do we train ourselves out of that? The Stoics had a pretty clear recipe for this, right? Particularly Marcus Aurelius.
He did. He lays out 4 critical habits for aligning your mind. 1, accept only what's true. 2, work for the common good.
So direct your energy toward acts that benefit other people.
Exactly. 3, Limit your desires and your aversions only to what is in your own power. So match your wants with what you can actually control.
And then there's the fourth one, which is I think where a lot of people get stuck. Embrace everything nature assigns us. This is where I have to push back a bit. If we just embrace everything, a difficult boss, a bad economy, some random tragedy, doesn't that just sound like giving up? Isn't that just apathy?
That is the perpetual misunderstanding of radical acceptance. It is absolutely not apathy. It's not fatalism. It's strategic.
Okay, strategic how?
By accepting the external circumstances, the reality of the boss, the market, whatever happened in the past, you stop wasting energy fighting the unchangeable.
And that energy's freed up.
It's freed up entirely to focus on what you can control. Your response, your choices, your character, your next effective action. Radical acceptance is what makes effective action possible.
That shift in perspective is huge, especially now. I mean, most of us feel completely overwhelmed by constant change.
We do. We hear all the time that our era is uniquely volatile. Culture shifts week to week. Tech disrupts everything. Politics swing like a pendulum.
And we feel so sure we know whose fault it is and that all could have been prevented.
We feel besieged by instability. But if Marcus Aurelius were sitting here with us, he'd probably find all of this grimly familiar.
He wouldn't be surprised at all.
Not one bit. Our sources remind us that in 2,000 years, the only thing that's changed are the specific details of the crises. Change is the only constant.
I mean, can you even think of a time when the world wasn't in crisis?
That's the challenge, right?
Yeah.
The Roman Empire had plagues, violent political upheavals, massive cultural clashes. It was never stable.
It's a really necessary perspective check. Our ancestors were dealing with chaos on a scale that honestly makes a lot of our modern worries seem smaller.
Exactly. The ceaseless, merciless river of change has always been flowing. And the implication for us is profound. We are here because our ancestors figured out how to swim in that river.
So our task isn't to build a dam against it, which is hopeless.
It's to learn to swim with skill.
And while we're learning to swim, we often run into this other cultural barrier, this idea that showing emotion is a weakness.
Oh, yeah. Suck it up. Stop being a crybaby.
That message is everywhere, and it fundamentally misunderstands what strength even is. It's so damaging.
Because you start demanding that you not only control your circumstances, but your natural emotional response to them too, which is impossible.
This is where those powerful counterexamples are so important. We see these historical figures as these models of emotional detachment, but the real stories are so much messier.
And way more instructive. Take a story of profound suffering. The sanitized version is always someone absorbing pain with this kind of divine indifference.
Right.
But the actual human story, like in crucifixion, is one of raw, agonizing doubt. That cry, my God, why have you forsaken me?" is not indifference. It's suffering given a voice.
And giving it a voice makes you more human, not less.
And you even see it in Stoicism itself. Marcus Aurelius, the icon of discipline, cried uncontrollably when his tutor died.
And his stepfather, Antoninus, said something incredible in that moment.
He said, "Neither philosophy nor empire takes away natural feeling." Think about the weight of that. No matter how wise you are or how important your job is, it is okay to break down.
So true strength isn't about suppression.
No. It's about being fully human, feeling the pain, acknowledging the wound, and still choosing to show up and carry on.
That connects directly to what might be the greatest act of strength. Gandhi said, "The weak can never forgive. Forgiveness is the attribute of the strong."
It's a remarkable insight because forgiveness isn't simple. It's the ultimate act of strength because it requires you to feel the hurt, to acknowledge the injury, and then despite all that, choose to move on anyway.
It's accepting what happened externally, but radically choosing your internal reaction.
Which takes a massive amount of energy and focus.
So we've talked about focusing outward, accepting change, allowing for vulnerability. There seems to be a common thread running through all this, a call for simplicity.
Absolutely. The need for simplicity comes right out of the exhaustion of trying to control the uncontrollable. Anna Quinlan said it perfectly. Get a real life, not a manic pursuit of the next promotion, the bigger paycheck, the larger house.
We confuse activity with purpose, don't we? And accumulation with fulfillment.
All the time. This world of infinite choice has made it so easy to just pile up these false measures of success that only leave you feeling dissatisfied. Simplicity is freedom from that.
It strips away all the inessential stuff that keeps us looking over the fence at what everyone else has.
And lets us focus on character and contribution. Ralph Waldo Emerson reminds us that life is a journey, not a destination. When you really inhabit your days as the journey, you stop spoiling what you have.
And that focus on the quality of your presence, that brings up the difference between a great life and just a long life.
Yeah, length of days is irrelevant if you're not present for them. The truly wise meet death with a firm step because they know they've already had a great life. Nothing can take that away.
That's the definition of perseverance, really. Not just grit, but persistence on a much larger scale. It's the long game.
Precisely. Life isn't one obstacle you just power through. It's wave after wave of challenge. Perseverance is endurance on a human scale. It means you let yourself cry, you adjust, you adapt, and you just keep moving.
So if we pull all of this together, we're back at that beautiful, difficult paradox we started with. You have to hold these contradictory truths at the same time. We're self-absorbed by nature, but meaning only comes from focusing outward. We want stability, but change is the only constant.
We're told to be strong, but real strength requires honest vulnerability.
The wisdom is in holding both sides of that.
Yeah. Seek simplicity in a complex world. Accept change radically while still working for the common good. Focus outward always, but honor your inner feelings.
And this framework, it really just reinforces the ultimate power that you have, which is the power of choice.
You can't control the river. You can't control what people do. But you can always change how you react. You can always choose not to spoil what you have.
So the task isn't to change the river.
No. It's to learn to swim with grace, to help others stay afloat, and to never, ever let a generous impulse pass you by.
Because the great life is measured by the quality of presence we bring to each moment.
So that when the end comes, you can look back and know you lived fully, loved well, and left things a little better than you found them.
And that journey, with all its uncertainty and its pain and its beauty, that's more than enough.